All right, so welcome to the deep dive, everybody. Today, we're going deep on bats.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, and, this was inspired by the video a listener sent in. About the bumblebee bat.
Oh, yeah, the smallest mammal in the world.
Right. I mean,
Tiny little thing.
yeah.
Adorable.
So that kind of got me thinking about bats and all the things we don't know about them, So I figured this would be a good deep dive to just see what's out there.
Yeah, I mean,
What are some of the surprising things about bats?
yeah, I think the one thing people don't realize is, like, how diverse they are, you know? I
Uh-huh.
mean, you've got, the bumblebee bat,
Right.
which is like, barely an inch long,
Yeah.
2 grams.
Right. It's crazy.
And then you have, like, flying foxes, some with wingspans of over 4 feet.
Really?
Oh,
I did not know that.
I know, it's crazy.
That's a huge bat.
Yeah, it's like a small child flying through the air.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Correct.
wild.
So that's a huge range. I mean, the variety is just kind of mind-blowing. And I guess, like with echolocation, right? That's something I always think about with bats.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
mean, that was illustrated pretty well in that video.
Yeah.
They use sound to see, right?
Right.
It's just, I mean, and the way they can detect these tiny objects.
It's like a superpower.
Yeah, like a human hair or something. It's crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, they're basically building this, like, sonic picture of their environment.
Oh, wow.
Much more detailed than what we as humans can even experience.
That's a good point. It makes you think, like, what are we missing, right?
Right.
We rely so heavily on our sight, but there's this whole world of sensory information that we're basically blind to.
Yeah, we just don't even know about it.
Yeah, we have no idea. But yeah, so I mean, the other thing that I thought was really interesting about the video was just how much we rely on bats,
Oh.
for things like pest control. I mean, they're voracious insect eaters,
Yeah, huge.
up to their own body weight in a single night.
Yeah, so like the Bracken Bat Cave in Texas,
Hmm.
home to over 20 million bats.
Jeez.
They're eating 200 tons of insects nightly.
200 tons.
200 tons.
What? That's incredible.
I can't even...
I can't even imagine that many bugs, let alone something that eats all of them.
Right.
That's incredible. But I guess that's what makes them such, like, effective guardians of the night.
Yeah, totally. Although, I will say, not all bats are insectivores.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay.
Some are fruit eaters,
Yeah. Yeah,
They're very important for, like, seed dispersal.
right.
And then some even more specialized diets.
Yeah, speaking of specialized diets, the video mentioned vampire bats, and I gotta ask, how does that even work, drinking blood?
Well, I mean, they have razor-sharp teeth, right? They make a small incision,
Yeah.
and then they actually lap up the blood rather
Right.
than sucking it.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Interesting. So less gruesome than I was picturing in my mind.
Yeah, a little bit.
But yeah, I mean, so I guess they've just, perfectly adapted to this very specific niche.
Well, absolutely, yeah.
And while we're talking about adaptations, did you see the part about bat fellatio?
Oh, yes.
Is that a thing? Like, for real?
It is observed in certain species.
Really?
Yeah, like the short-nosed fruit bat.
Okay.
And scientists have, some fascinating theories about why it happens.
Oh, wow. Okay. Lay it on me.
So some researchers think it might prolong mating,
Uh-huh.
which, increases the chances of fertilization.
Right.
And then others think it might play a role in hygiene.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, potentially reducing the transmission of STDs.
Wait, bat STDs. Okay.
Yeah.
Did not expect to learn about that today.
Yeah, there you go.
But okay, so their mating rituals might be a form of, like, disease prevention, essentially.
Potentially, yeah. It's just, I mean, it makes you think about how even these seemingly bizarre behaviors often have like a deeper evolutionary purpose.
Right.
Yeah. No, that's fascinating. Okay. Well, let's shift gears here a little bit to something maybe even more bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you saw this in the research, but did you read anything about the bat bomb?
Oh, yes. What?
Okay, so this is real.
During World War II, right?
Uh-huh.
A dentist came up with the idea of using bats as weapons.
Wait, a dentist?
Yeah.
Like teeth?
I know, it's weird.
Okay, I clearly need more information. So how is this supposed to work?
So basically they wanted to strap incendiary devices
Okay.
to Mexican free-tailed bats
Uh-huh.
and then drop them over Japan.
Seriously?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, and so they chose these bats, because they like to roost in attics and other hidden spaces.
Right.
And the idea was that these bats would carry these like miniature bombs into buildings
Right.
where they would detonate and cause fires and chaos.
I mean, it's creative, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Did they ever actually try it?
They did.
Oh, no! In 1943, they had a test at the Carlsbad Air Force Base.
Yeah.
And, well, it didn't really go as planned.
I can imagine. What happened?
Well, the bats, they were supposed to be semi-hibernating,
Oh, okay.
but
Yeah.
they woke up prematurely, and they kind of bombed their own base instead.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, I know.
They blew up their own base with a bunch of bomb-carrying bats.
I know, it sounds like a cartoon.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So the bats were a little too eager to play their part.
Just a bit.
What happened after that?
So, amazingly, the project actually continued for a while.
Really?
Yeah, even after they set their own base on fire.
Oh, wow.
But it was eventually canceled, though,
Okay.
due to slow progress and then the emergence of a more, let's say, conventional weapon.
The atomic bomb.
Yeah.
So from
Yeah.
the smallest mammal to potential bioweapons, it's incredible. I never would have, I never realized bats had this kind of, relationship with humans, I guess,
They're surprisingly complex creatures
Yeah.
with a long history.
Wow. Okay. Well, before we get into, any more bat bombs or bat STDs, I'm curious to learn more about, their role in the ecosystem beyond just pest control. You mentioned pollination before, but we didn't really dive into that.
Oh, yeah.
What can you tell me about that?
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that they're actually super important pollinators.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, we always think of bees and butterflies,
Right.
But
Right.
bats play a really big role in a lot of ecosystems.
So they're like what? Tiny flying gardeners?
Pretty much. They're flitting from flower to flower, feeding on nectar. And then in that process, they're transferring pollen, which, allows plants to reproduce.
That's so cool. What kinds of plants rely on them, though?
Well, I mean, a wide variety.
Mhm.
I guess one of the most notable would be agave plants.
Wait, agave as in tequila?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Tequila production relies pretty heavily on bat pollination.
I had no idea.
Also, a lot of species of mangoes, bananas, and even cacao, the source of chocolate,
Cool.
all depend on bats.
Wow. So next time I'm enjoying a margarita or a chocolate bar, I'll have to, raise a toast to the bats.
There you go. But, I mean, it's funny, right? We started this whole deep dive thinking about the smallest bat in the world, and now we're talking about tequila and chocolate. Like, who knew bats had such a diverse impact on our lives?
It really just shows how, everything's connected, right?
Right.
And how much we still don't know about the natural world.
Yeah. Okay, so back to the bat STDs for a second.
Oh, yeah.
You mentioned hygiene as a possible explanation for,
Right, right.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, so one theory is that, the oral sex might help to physically remove pathogens from the genital area.
Oh, okay.
Sort of like how primates groom each other, right,
Right.
to get rid of parasites.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so this seemingly bizarre behavior could actually be a way of preventing disease. It's possible, yeah. I mean, like I said, nature's full of surprises.
That's for sure. I'm curious about the cultural significance of bats. We've talked about the ecological stuff, but what about, their symbolism? How different cultures view them?
Oh, yeah. That's really interesting. I mean, bats have had all sorts of different meanings and symbolism throughout history. Like in some cultures, they're seen as, creatures of darkness, evil, even death.
I can see that, with their nocturnal habits and everything and, the whole vampire thing.
Exactly.
Huh.
But in other cultures, they're actually seen as symbols of good luck, prosperity, even rebirth.
Really?
Yeah. Like, for example, in Chinese culture, bats are often associated with happiness and fortune. The Chinese word for bat actually sounds similar to the word for good luck.
Oh, wow.
So they're often depicted in art and decorations as, symbols of prosperity.
Huh. That's so interesting. So the same creature can have, completely opposite meanings just depending on, cultural context.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it just goes to show how our own, cultural narratives kind of shape our understanding of the world around us.
That's a good point. It also reminds us that there's always more than meets the eye,
Yeah, for sure.
Even with creatures that we think we know, like bats, that are all these layers of complexity.
Absolutely. And that's what makes studying nature so fascinating.
Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground in this bat-tastic deep dive.
Yeah, we have.
From the smallest bat to bat STDs to bat bombs. Is there anything else we should touch on before we wrap things up? It's amazing to think, Like all the stuff I just assumed about bats, you know?
Yeah.
Before this, like I would never have guessed they were so important to ecosystems, like even to tequila and chocolate.
Right. Like you think of them and you're like, ooh, spooky, scary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But even after everything we've learned, I feel like there's got to be so much more we don't know about them, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
What are scientists still trying to figure out? Like, what are the big questions about bats?
Well, I mean, their echolocation, you know,
Yeah.
it's so sophisticated. Like researchers are still trying to figure out how they process all that information to
Um,
navigate and to hunt so effectively,
yeah.
It's like having a built-in radar system.
Right. Imagine if like we could figure out how to use that.
Right.
I mean, it'd be like a sixth
Yeah,
sense.
totally.
What else? What else are they looking at with bats?
Well, I mean, given their immune systems,
Uh-huh.
like, they carry all kinds of viruses without getting sick.
Right, right.
Scientists are really interested in the potential medical applications of bat saliva.
Wait, really? Bat spit could like have medical uses?
I know it sounds strange,
Yeah.
but it's true.
Okay.
Their saliva has all these compounds with like anticoagulant properties. So that means like they prevent blood from clotting.
Oh, wow.
So there's potential there for treating things like, strokes or heart disease.
Oh, wow. So bats could actually like hold the key to new medical breakthroughs.
It's possible, yeah.
I mean, that's pretty incredible. And it just makes you think about how we often like demonize them.
Yeah, we do.
And, maybe they're not so bad after all.
Exactly. Kind of underscores like, the importance of just scientific curiosity.
Yeah.
Looking beyond our initial perceptions of things. Who knows what other secrets, the bat world holds.
It really makes you wonder what else we're missing out on by just like judging a book by its cover. You know what I mean?
Right.
So much of our fear comes from just a lack of understanding.
Absolutely. And that's where, learning and exploration come in. The
Right.
more we the more we learn about the natural world, the
Hmm.
more we realize how interconnected we are with all living things, even bats.
Totally. Well said. So, to everyone listening, keep exploring, keep questioning, keep an open mind. You never know what you might discover.
And the next time you see a bat, just flying around in the sky, take a moment to appreciate it
Yeah, that's a good point.
for the incredible creature that it is,
Yeah,
and all the stuff it does for us.
that's a great takeaway. Thanks for joining us on this Bat-tastic deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
We hope you learned something new and maybe, even developed a new appreciation for these often misunderstood creatures. We'll see you next time.